Whitey Bulger was one of America's most feared and mysterious crime bosses. He grew up in South Boston and slowly built power through fear, loyalty, and violence. For years, he ran the Winter Hill Gang and secretly worked with the FBI, giving them information about rival criminals while he continued his own crimes. Because of this deal, he stayed protected for a long time. But when the truth came out, everything collapsed. In 1994, he got a warning that he was about to be arrested, so he disappeared and lived quietly under false identities for 16 years. The FBI searched everywhere, but he stayed one step ahead, moving from place to place until he finally settled in California. In 2011, after a public campaign showing his girlfriend's photos, someone recognized her, leading to his arrest. His capture ended one of the longest manhunts in U.S. history. Who was Whitey Bulger? To understand why Whitey Bulger's capture shocked the whole world, you first need to know who he really was. James Whitey Bulger grew up in South Boston, a tough neighborhood where loyalty, family, and street reputation mattered more than anything. As a young man in the 1950s and 60s, he wasn't just another kid getting into trouble. He was sharp, fearless, and always one step ahead. Crime became his way to rise, and by the 1970s and 80s, he had taken control of the Winter Hill Gang, the most powerful criminal group in Boston. His world was built on extortion, loan sharking, illegal gambling, drug trafficking, and brutal violence. The FBI later connected him to 19 murders, including shootings and strangulations, many done to protect his power or send a message. In Boston, people didn't say his name loudly. They whispered it. But the part that still shocks people today is that Whitey Bulger didn't just run from the law. He was protected by someone inside it. He had managed to use the FBI to his advantage, hiding behind the very system meant to stop him. The FBI's biggest embarrassment. For years, the FBI believed Whitey Bulger was helping them by giving information about the Italian mafia. Because of this, a few FBI agents protected him instead of stopping him. They warned him about investigations and let him keep running his criminal empire. But no deal lasts forever. By 1994, federal prosecutors finally had enough evidence to charge him. Someone inside the FBI secretly tipped him off, and Whitey vanished almost overnight. In just a few days, he went from controlling Boston's streets to becoming one of the most wanted fugitives in the world. He wouldn't be seen again for the next 16 years. Running from the world, Whitey's escape route. Whitey Bulger didn't run without a plan. He had prepared for this moment long before it happened. Investigators later learned he had fake IDs, hidden cash, disguises, and a full escape strategy ready to use. In the early years, he moved from city to city, including New York, Chicago, and Grand Isle, Louisiana. He even rented a quiet house in Louisiana until someone recognized him. And then he disappeared again. After that, it felt like he had vanished from the world. Tips poured into the FBI from every continent, but none were true. Whitey wasn't hiding in darkness. He was hiding in plain sight. A new life as the gas goes. In 1997, an older couple quietly moved into the Princess Eugenia apartments on 3rd Street in Santa Monica. They called themselves Charlie and Carol Gasco. Charlie seemed like a retired man who liked his privacy, and Carol was a gentle woman who loved animals, especially a stray cat outside the building. Nothing about them seemed strange. Their apartment was small and simple, and they lived a quiet life. Neighbors said they were polite, reserved, always paid rent on time in cash, and never caused any problems. Carol rarely went out, and Charlie often wore a hat and sunglasses, looking like a tired, grumpy old man. Everyone assumed they were just a poor, private couple trying to stay out of the way. But behind the apartment door was a different story. Guns, fake IDs, ammunition, and hundreds of thousands of dollars were hidden inside. Charlie and Carol were not who they claimed. They were Whitey Bulger and Greig, hiding from one of the biggest manhunts in the country. Why Santa Monica was the perfect hiding place? You might wonder why Whitey Bulger chose California to hide. The answer is simple. Santa Monica is full of tourists, retirees, and people who keep to themselves. It has rent-controlled apartments where older residents live quietly. And its streets are crowded with people from all over the country and world. In a city like this, no one stands out, especially an elderly couple. And most importantly, Santa Monica is not Boston. Local police focused on gang violence and cartel activity, not an aging Irish mobster from the East Coast. For 14 years, Charlie and Carol Gasco blended in perfectly, living quietly while one of the FBI's most wanted fugitives hid right under everyone's nose. The FBI's frustration. The FBI was stuck. They faced two big problems. First, there were no recent photos of Whitey Bulger or Greig. The only images they had were old, blurry pictures from the early 1990s. Second, Bulger was extremely careful. He hardly contacted anyone from his past, avoided phones, stayed off the internet, and left almost no digital trace. For years, the task force even joked that he belonged on the FBI's least wanted list, because they had almost nothing to go on. Then, after 16 years, the breakthrough came from the most unexpected places. A doctor who had treated Catherine and a stray cat they cared for, finally giving agents the clues they needed. The FBI had hit a wall. They faced two big problems. There were no recent photos of Whitey Bulger or Greig, only old blurry pictures from the early 1990s, and Bulger was extremely careful. He avoided phones, stayed off the internet, and hardly contacted anyone from his past, leaving almost no trace. For years, agents even joked that he was on the FBI's least wanted list because they had so little to work with. But after 16 years, the breakthrough came in the most unexpected way. From a doctor who had treated Catherine and a stray cat the couple loved, giving the FBI the clues they desperately needed. The tip that cracked the case. A woman who had once lived in Santa Monica saw the photos and knew immediately who they were. She was certain the couple in apartment 303 at the Princess Eugenia were the same people, noting, "They always take care of a stray cat." This matched the FBI's profile perfectly. Catherine loved animals, and Whitey was known to love cats and dogs. When agents checked the names Charlie and Carol Gasco, there were no IDs, no licenses, nothing. They were ghosts. Within hours, the FBI set up surveillance, and the apartment manager confirmed the couple matched the photos. But everyone knew one thing. Whitey Bulger had never planned to go quietly. The clever ruse, tricking Whitey to come out. A woman who had once lived in Santa Monica saw the photos and knew immediately who they were. She was certain the couple in apartment 303 at the Princess Eugenia were the same people, noting, "They always take care of a stray cat." This matched the FBI's profile perfectly. Catherine loved animals, and Whitey was known to love cats and dogs. When agents checked the names Charlie and Carol Gasco, there were no IDs, no licenses, nothing. They were ghosts. Within hours, the FBI set up surveillance, and the apartment manager confirmed the couple matched the photos. But everyone knew one thing. Whitey Bulger had never planned to go quietly. The search of the apartment. When FBI agents entered apartment 303, they couldn't believe what they saw. Everywhere they looked, there were weapons, shotguns, rifles, handguns, and ammunition. Some loaded and placed near windows as if ready for a fight. Hidden among these were disguises, fake IDs, and more than $800,000 in cash. But mixed with these tools of a criminal's life were ordinary, everyday items, cleaning supplies, simple clothes, and household necessities. Dozens of large 64-ounce bottles had socks stretched over the tops. When an agent asked if they were weapons, Whitey laughed and explained he used them as leg warmers, bought from the 99-cent store. When asked why he shopped there while hiding so much money, he simply said, "I needed to make the money last." It was a strange mix. A ruthless gangster's world sitting side by side with the quiet, ordinary life of an old man trying to blend in. What Whitey said after his capture. On the flight back to Boston, Whitey Bulger spoke openly with the agents. He admitted he had become obsessed with staying hidden, following every rule to avoid attention, staying quiet, invisible, and even obeying the law just to remain undetected. He confessed that if he ever became seriously ill, he planned to crawl into an abandoned mine in Arizona so no one would ever find his body. He wanted the FBI to keep searching for him forever. After years of running, however, his life on the run ended not because of a sting or a tip from another criminal, but because of a simple TV announcement and a stray cat. Small, ordinary things that finally brought one of America's most wanted fugitives to justice. The final years, justice at last. Whitey Bulger was finally brought back to Boston to face the crimes that had haunted the city for decades. In court, survivors and families of his victims shared their stories, finally finding some answers. The world watched as one of America's most notorious criminals stood trial. Bulger was sentenced to 2 life terms plus 5 years, while Greig received 8 years for helping him hide. For Boston, the arrest closed a long, painful chapter in the city's history. In the end, Whitey Bulger wasn't just a gangster who ruled with fear. He was a man who tried to hide in plain sight. He didn't live in some secret bunker or escape to another country. He lived like a normal old man in a small apartment near the beach, feeding cats, talking to neighbors, and pretending he had nothing to hide. But small things gave him away. Catherine's love for animals, a neighbor who remembered a face, a doctor's old photo, and a TV ad that finally exposed the truth. It makes you wonder, can anyone really escape their past? How long can someone run before the world catches up? If you want more real stories from the dark corners of crime, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. This is the Narco Files, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.